Mornings in our 70s feel different than they once did. There was a time when opening your eyes meant springing out of bed, ready to take on the world without much thought. Now, perhaps you wake and notice the weight of your body more clearly, the stiffness in your joints, or even a heaviness in your thoughts. It's not a sign that something is wrong. It's simply the natural rhythm of a body that has carried you through decades of living. Aging is not a loss of energy, it is a change in how that energy wants to move through you. The truth is, feeling refreshed at 75 is not about pushing harder, but about listening more closely. It's about honoring the softer signals your body gives you. Some mornings may feel heavy, others light. That fluctuation is not a problem to fix, but a message to hear. Your body whispers, "Care for me gently," and when you respond, the day begins with more peace. I've spoken with many people who share this same experience. Margaret, who is 74, once told me that she used to feel guilty about taking her mornings slowly, as though she were wasting time. Then she began to see her mornings as a gift, quiet hours to breathe, stretch, and sip tea without rushing. That shift in perspective alone changed how she greeted the day. What she discovered was something we all eventually learn. Mornings are less about efficiency and more about presence. You might ask yourself, how do I actually feel in those first minutes after waking? Do I give myself permission to move slowly, or do I pressure myself to be as quick as I once was? Reflecting on those questions gently, not with judgment but with curiosity, can already make your mornings feel lighter. There's a quiet beauty in accepting that your mornings now belong to you, not to the demands of others. You are free to create a rhythm that nourishes instead of drains. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting by the window for a moment, noticing the light. Other times it's choosing to stay in bed a little longer, stretching your arms before standing. None of these small acts are indulgences, they are wisdom at work. And that wisdom grows deeper with age. Tell me, where do you usually feel most at peace when you wake? Is it the sound of waves near the sea, the stillness of a country morning, or even the muted hum of the city? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear where your mornings truly begin. One of the simplest ways to begin the day with clarity is through water, yet even something as basic as drinking can take on a new meaning with age. You've probably heard for years that a big glass of water first thing in the morning is essential. And yes, hydration matters, but your body at 70 or 75 does not respond the same way it did at 30. What once felt energizing might now leave you lightheaded or unsettled. The truth is, it isn't just about water, it's about how you offer it to yourself. I remember Anna, a gentlewoman of 76, who once shared her struggle with me. She had been faithfully drinking a tall glass of cold water as soon as she woke up, believing she was doing the best for her health. But every morning she noticed a wave of dizziness and sometimes even nausea. For a while, she worried something was wrong with her heart or her balance. After some reflection and gentle adjustments, she began sipping warm water slowly instead of gulping down a large glass. The difference surprised her. Her body felt calm, her stomach settled, and she began to look forward to mornings instead of dreading them. Anna's story is a reminder that wisdom often means doing less, but doing it more mindfully. You might try keeping a small cup or bottle by your bedside so you don't have to walk to the kitchen right away. Sip a little before standing up fully, noticing how your body receives it. If you like, add a slice of lemon, but only if your digestion welcomes it. Your stomach in these years often prefers kindness over intensity. Ask yourself gently, when I drink water quickly, how do I feel afterward? Light and clear, or unsettled and heavy? And when I slow down, do I notice a difference? You don't need to force answers, just noticing is already a gift of awareness. Hydration is not a race, it's an invitation to begin your day with softness. Over time, these quiet rituals become anchors, moments when you choose to honor yourself rather than follow someone else's rule. If these gentle reminders resonate with you, you might want to subscribe. I share simple routines that honor the way our bodies change with age, and perhaps one of them will be exactly what your mornings have been waiting for. Have you noticed how your body sometimes feels a little stiffer when you first rise, as though the night has quietly wrapped you in stillness? This isn't weakness or failure, it's simply the natural slowing of circulation that happens while we sleep. During the night, your heart rate lowers, your breathing deepens, and your body conserves energy. Blood flow becomes gentler, and with that calm, the joints can feel a little less fluid in the morning. It's your body's way of resting deeply. But when you open your eyes, it also means you may need a little time to bring life back into your muscles. Think of it as a garden that has rested under the night sky. It doesn't bloom the moment the sun appears, it slowly unfolds. Your body is no different. Light, intentional movement in the morning awakens the lymphatic system, helping to clear out what the night has left behind. Breathing deeply expands the lungs, oxygenates the blood, and tells your nervous system it's time to begin again. There is no need for force. In fact, forcing movement when your body still feels stiff can sometimes do more harm than good. Instead, imagine giving your body the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend. Even 3 to 5 minutes is enough. Try sitting on the edge of your bed and rolling your shoulders slowly, feeling the muscles loosen with each circle. Turn your head gently from side to side, as though you were saying yes and no in slow motion. Place your hands on your belly, take in a deep breath through your nose, and feel your abdomen rise before you exhale softly. These are not exercises to master, they are invitations to notice how alive your body still is. Many people I speak with are surprised by how much difference such small gestures make. Robert, at 73, once confessed he thought stretching was unnecessary, just something young athletes do. Yet after beginning with only a few minutes of morning breathing and shoulder rolls, he found his balance improved, and the fog he used to carry into breakfast began to lift. It wasn't about strength, it was about flow. That's the wisdom of aging, discovering that gentleness often brings more energy than force ever could. Perhaps you might ask yourself, when I move gently in the morning, does my body feel lighter? Does my mind feel clearer? And if I skip it, do I notice more stiffness, more fog? These questions aren't tests, they are ways of learning to listen. With each small act of movement, you are not just stretching muscles, you are reminding yourself that life still wants to move through you, gracefully and at your own pace. Breakfast is often described as the most important meal of the day, and while that may hold some truth, it is equally important to remember that what nourishes you at 75 is not always the same as what gave you energy at 40. Our digestion changes with time. The body becomes more selective, more sensitive, and, in a way, wiser. A heavy meal that once felt comforting can now leave you sluggish or even a little unsteady. It is not about deprivation, but about choosing with more awareness, allowing food to be a source of lightness rather than weight. Many of us grew up hearing that a strong breakfast meant something hearty and heavy, often full of bread, fried food, or sugar. But that idea doesn't always serve us well as we age. The truth is, strength at this stage of life is not measured by fullness, but by clarity, by how awake and steady you feel afterward. So perhaps it helps to imagine your first meal as a gentle conversation with your body, rather than a test of endurance. Begin softly. A piece of fruit, a spoonful of yogurt, or a small bowl of oats can be enough to wake up the digestive system. Once your body has received that kindness, you may add something more grounding, an egg, a handful of nuts, or a little cheese. Notice how each addition feels, not just in your stomach, but in your energy. Too much sugar early in the day may give you a sudden burst, followed by fatigue, while a balanced meal leaves you steady for hours. Think of it as creating harmony rather than chasing power. Here's a gentle step-by-step that many have found helpful. First, drink your water slowly and allow the body to wake. Then, start with something light, simple, and soothing. After that, add a touch of protein to support your muscles and balance. Finally, pause and notice. Does your body feel clear or does it feel heavy? That awareness is the most important part. Grace, a woman of 71, once told me she had always prided herself on cooking a proper breakfast for her husband and herself. Bacon, toast, and coffee. She thought it was the responsible thing to do. But she confessed that most mornings she needed a nap right after eating. One day she decided to experiment. She started with a small bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and only later added a boiled egg. To her surprise, she not only stayed awake but felt lighter and more engaged for the rest of the morning. What she realized was simple. Nourishing doesn't always mean heavy. You might gently ask yourself, after my usual breakfast, do I feel alive and present, or do I feel weighed down? Does my meal give me steady energy, or does it leave me searching for more? These are not questions meant to judge you, but to guide you toward discovering what truly supports you now. Your body is not your enemy. It is your oldest companion, and listening to it is one of the kindest things you can do. A peaceful morning truly begins the night before. The body, like the earth, responds to cycles of light and darkness, activity and rest. When you give yourself the chance to settle gently into the evening, you create the conditions for waking up refreshed rather than struggling through heaviness. It's easy to forget this truth in a world that often glorifies staying busy until the last moment of the day. But at 75, wisdom lies in choosing softness over stimulation. Our nervous system is like a sensitive instrument. Bright screens, late-night news, or heavy meals act like loud notes that keep the strings vibrating long after you've laid your head down. Over time, those vibrations show up as restless sleep, shallow dreams, or mornings clouded with fatigue. But just as you can disturb the strings, you can also tune them with gentleness. Small rituals matter here. Dim the lights an hour before bed, letting your body know that night has truly come. Replace television with a warm cup of chamomile tea, or let your hands hold a book of poetry, something that invites calm rather than agitation. You might find comfort in writing a few lines in a journal, 3 things you're grateful for, or even a small memory from the day worth holding close. These practices are not luxuries. They are the foundations of deep rest. George, 78, once told me that he never understood why he woke up so tense every morning. He believed it was simply age catching up with him. But when he looked more closely, he realized his evenings were filled with noise. The late news with its endless stream of worry, his phone buzzing with messages, and sometimes a heavy snack before bed. He decided to experiment. Instead of watching television at 10 o'clock, he brewed himself a small pot of herbal tea and read a few pages of his favorite poet. Within a week, he noticed he was falling asleep faster, waking up fewer times in the night, and opening his eyes with a sense of ease he hadn't felt in years. His mornings became softer, not because he forced them, but because he treated his evenings with care. Perhaps you might pause and ask yourself, what in my evenings feels heavy? What leaves me restless? And what small change, just one, could bring me more peace before I close my eyes? There is no need to change everything at once. Sometimes even 10 minutes of quiet reflection before bed can make a difference. Aging gives us this gift of perspective, the ability to see that what truly shapes our days are not grand gestures, but the gentle choices we repeat again and again. A refreshed morning is not an accident. It is the fruit of a night lived with tenderness. Aging gives us the chance to live mornings with wisdom instead of rush. If this touched you, consider subscribing for more gentle reminders. And tell me in the comments, what's one small change you'll try tonight to wake up more refreshed tomorrow?